All right, I'm recording. So I wanted to do this for everybody. I want to do it really at the end of every group just because I know a lot of people have questions through the month about coaching, and either you're too scared to ask or you're not sure what it would really mean if you ask, like, would I make you coach or whatever. So I really wanted to just share some of what coaching is, kind of like the behind the scenes of what we do, and all the misconceptions, the questions that I get all the time, that some people don't ask, they're scared to ask, but I know you have them because I had similar ones too. So I'm going to start actually from like the very beginning. When coaching kind of came to be. So when all those programs were coming out, like P90X, like the older ones, I don't even remember how old they are, over 10 years. When they came out, um, coaching wasn't a thing, but there was this like online forum that Beachbody had where people could like chat back and forth, and they started to notice, like the CEO started to notice that people were kind of creating this community around these programs, and they were sharing recipes, they were sharing tips that were helping them get through things, and they were sharing results, and they were starting to like pump each other up. And so they really started to dig further into it, Carl did, and to see that people helping people was like where it was at. That's what was getting people better results, was when people took a hold of it instead of just like buying some program online and getting the box and having it just kind of like sit there. You now have people leading people. And so coaching kind of came to be. He started with like these 20 like oh my gosh, these coaches have been doing it since the beginning. Some of them actually live down here near me, which is kind of cool because I get to see them at some of the events. But so coaching kind of evolved, and it has seriously every single year. I've been in 5 years now, and every year it has evolved even further every single year. Carl is our CEO, is one of the most incredible entrepreneurs, and he's always trying to push the limits with getting us in the front and always doing new things. It's incredible. But anyway, I wanted to tell you kind of how Beachbody coaches came to be. Next, I want to share with you how it happened for me, because everybody's a little bit different. Some people come into coaching literally for the business. Like they've never tried a Beachbody product before. They've never done a program before. They're just like, yep, okay, I want to make money. Let's go. I was not that case. I actually was the complete opposite. I had done a post on social media saying something about like, I need help with my sugar addiction. And this girl messaged me. She was a friend of mine on Facebook, but I have no idea like who she was outside of that. And she messaged me and she said that she could help me with that. And I was like, okay, whatever. And she started talking to me about my goals and about different things. And she said that she had this thing that would really help. And she started talking to me about the 3-day refresh, which it's a 3-day cleanse. I've now done it probably 6 times. And she told me about the fitness. And as soon as she started talking about the fitness, I knew that I had that P90X, which is the same company, remember. I bought that 10 years prior or whatever, and I bombed it. Like I did one workout. It was the hardest thing I'd ever tried. I felt like a complete failure. I cried and I put that box away, and it sat there and got dusty. And that's the extent of it. So as soon as she started like saying that stuff like that, I was like, no, I don't think that's really for me. The conversation went on for about like 2 weeks or so. And I think it just got to the point where I just needed to do something. I had reached total rock bottom in my life. I'm not going to go into all that. If you followed me on Instagram or Facebook, you probably know a little bit of that story. But I had really reached the low of low. I had 2 little ones at this time and was working full time, 40 hours a week. It was at an hour away, my job was. And at the time I was married, my ex is a firefighter, so he was 24 hours away. So a lot of the times I was a single working mom of these 2 little ones that I was like bringing back and forth to daycare, and finding freaking sitters at 5 o'clock in the morning is kind of horrible because you don't get very good quality sitters that are wanting to come to your house at 5 a.m. So like all of these different things were kind of happening, and I was at my max. I was at my max. I'm like, how the hell am I going to take on one more thing right now? Like, but I feel like crap. So what the heck? So I did it. And I told myself that I was going to give myself 30 days because the cheap person inside me, the coach told me, she said, well, if in 30 days, before 30 days, you realize you don't like it or whatever, you can return it and get a full refund. And I'm like, okay, sweet. I'll do it for 29 days and I'll return it because I know I'm not going to do it good. Like, I just know, so I'll get my money back, whatever. So that's how I had to like tell myself that you're worthy of this because you're just going to return it and get your money back anyway. Like, I didn't feel like I was worthy of anything. So it was really hard for me. I think it was like $220, I think my package was, because I had like the 3-day refresh, started with 21-day fix, whatever. And she said that if I signed up with the coach account, I got a discount. And I was all about, remember the cheap thing, I was all about saving money and getting a discount. But she said the word coach, and I was like, oh, stop right now where you are. I said, I will never coach. Don't ever ask me to coach or I'm not signing up with you. Like, I was such a bitch. Like, I mean, I still am, but I was in a really negative way before. And I told her that, and I said it on multiple occasions before I clicked that submit button on my order. And she promised me, she said, I promise you, I will never ask you to coach. And I said, okay. So I did it, and I committed to those 30 days, and I don't remember what it was. I always get it wrong. It's either 13 or 15 pounds I dropped in those first 30 days. My sugar addiction was gone. I was like a new woman. I was like, I don't know. It's like when you close your eyes and you picture putting on the heels and the glittery sparkles and like walking that like red, like I was there. I was like in the zone. Like I had never felt that good in my entire life. Even like before kids, when I had the 2 hours a day to go to the gym, like I never felt this good. I still had more weight to lose, but it didn't matter. Like I just felt on fire. And people at work started to notice. I still was very anti-coaching, but you drop about 50, it's usually 15 to 20 pounds people notice. I know that's crazy that it takes that much, but 15 to 20 pounds, people start noticing your weight loss, like in person. And people started noticing, and they started asking me like, what are you doing? And I would real quick just be like, oh, it's some like at-home program, and kind of just brushed them off. But then I kept going and I kept feeling better and better and better. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this isn't as complicated as, I used to think it was. And if I can do it, I was getting up at 4:15 in the morning, getting my workout in before I had to leave for work. And I was meal planning on the weekends. I made all of my meals that I took for me, like at work on Sunday. I just made it work. Like if I could do that and it could change my life, why can't somebody else do it? And why can't I help them? I still wasn't thinking really money wise. I just wanted to help somebody else feel this way because I was at a point of a very dark place in life, and I didn't ever want another mom to feel that way. It kind of spiraled from postpartum, and it just kept getting worse from there. And postpartum is very common, and I think talked about a lot more now, but back 9 years ago when I was going through it, it wasn't talked about a lot. Social media wasn't really like a super huge thing. And so I was just thinking like, my gosh, like I need to share this. Like I almost just felt like it was a thing I had to do. And so I remember messaging my coach. And I was like, oh God, I know I told you like 17 times I don't want to coach, but can you show me what to do? And that was kind of history. Like it just went from there. I think it was maybe 6 months into it of coaching, which dates I'm not that great with, but I feel like it was about 6 months in that I watched a training of this one girl, Lisa. She's actually a good friend of mine now, but I watched a training that she did. She was a dean of a college, and I would sometimes plug into the trainings that we have. We have like bigger team trainings, and we have so many different ones that on any level you can plug into. And I plugged into this one, and it was, I don't know if it was a sneak peek like this, but she was saying how she was retired from being a dean and she replaced her income. And I just kind of like stopped and like I had to almost hear it again. Like I I watched her and I'm listening, but like, I just had to keep like replaying that in my head. I'm like, well, hold up. I'm like, she was a dean. She was probably making good money as a dean of a college. Like, I'm just going through all these thoughts because my coach, like, nobody walks around saying I make blank amount of money. Like, that's so tacky. So it's not like my coach ever told me what she made. And I didn't even really think about the money that she made. But she was a stay-at-home mom, and I don't know, she just did stuff. Like, I didn't think about it. And I know that's maybe naive, but I just didn't think about it. So when Lisa said that, it stopped me in my tracks. And I just was like, sorry for the cussing, but holy shit, this is legit. Like that's crazy. I could maybe not have to get up at 4:15 in the morning. I maybe don't have to have like daycare for my kids. That was crazy. I juggled 5 sitters at one point. 5 of them. They would call, they would cancel, it was a nightmare. And don't get me wrong, like, I had my dream job. I worked at Busch Gardens. The previous 5 years, I was with rhinos. That was like my dream. I had worked all the way up to that. That's what I wanted to do. And I had it. Like, I had that job that I wanted, but I didn't feel complete. I was missing football games. I was not putting my freaking kids to bed at night on some nights because we had late shifts. Like, it just killed my soul. However, I needed to make money. We were not a household where I could not work. We were a household where my income mattered. So at that point, I started putting the pedal down and I started attending all the trainings. I started to take it more seriously like a business. I started to do all the things. And I knew nothing, like freaking nothing about social media, about fitness or nutrition outside of this little bubble that I was in, this little community in this program of 21 Day Fix. That's what I knew. However, I will say I was with a personal trainer for years. So, I'm not brand new to fitness, but as a like training, like I didn't know any of that. I did not have an Instagram account when I started coaching, and I had 250 friends on Facebook. Y'all, I had every excuse in the book of why coaching would not work for me. I had 0 time, but I found time. I found freaking time between working 40 hours a week, between having 2 little ones, going back and forth an hour one way to work. Like, I found the time. I made time at my lunch break when I was at work. I made time after the kids went to bed. Was I exhausted? Yep. I was absolutely exhausted, but I'm sitting here retired from that job with my own freedom of time because I put in that hard work. So that's my story of coaching. And I have like so many reasons why I love this business. Like, I could probably literally do a full call on why I love this business. The people are everything. I don't make friends. Like, I know like people see me on social media and they think I'm some like outgoing, whatever. I am the most like introverted, weird like person ever. At the old school that we went to, everybody, all the moms, it's all within a mile. Everybody walks up to the school, which mind you, I'm in Florida, guys, so it's warm like all the time. And so we walk our kids to school and everybody, all the moms like huddle around, like outside after they drop them off or when you pick them up, they all huddle around and they talk. I stand in the back. I stand all the way in the back, like away from everybody. I do not do well with social interaction. It is not my thing. So if you think that you have to be some extrovert to be a coach, like, that is not the case. I speak with passion when I talk about coaching. I speak with passion when I am in my stories. And all of that comes because I love what we do. I freaking love it down to my core. So I can get past being uncomfortable with speaking. I can get past doing these things. Don't get me wrong. The first one, I nearly pooped myself. I was so nervous. So, but now like everything comes easier as you do it over and over and over again. And it pushes you so far outside your comfort zone that it's like, I didn't know I could do this. Like, holy smokes. But anyway, so the people is one thing, because like I said, I am not one, because it's really hard to make friends with the girl that's like standing all the way in the back, like with her head down, hat down. Like I would wear my hat, my sunglasses, everything, block me. Um, but this is where my friends come from. Like all of my best friends have come from coaching. Like, because when you're in these groups, which you guys have been in our challenge groups, whether you've been in for a week or 2 weeks or 2 years, you know that like these groups are where we get to know each other. We get to know each other on the bad days. We get to know each other on the good days. Like this is where, you know, friendships are made and trust is formed. So friendship number one will always be like the community will be one of my favorite parts about coaching, but there's others too. The money. I'm not gonna lie, like making an income, working from home, being able to have these freedoms with my babies, and then going through the divorce and being able to still stand on my 2 feet. I wouldn't have been able to do that at my other job. So mind you, all of the emotional roller coaster that all like had for me of going through the divorce. And if you guys are new to following me, then coming out, it was quite a roller coaster. But having the freedoms that I have with this job, I can take a day off when I want. I can take that emotional day off when I want, you know, so it's the freedoms of that is amazing. So, but having a job where I control my income when I'm having the freedom of working wherever I want, that is huge too for me. That is now one of my priorities, is to be able to make sure that I keep this job because of that. All right, the third reason of why I love it is one reason that I'm still bitter about because of COVID, but is the trips. So each year you have the ability to earn different trips. And the one that we were supposed to go on this year was Punta Cana. I think it was Punta Cana. And then Riviera Maya was last year, but you get the ability to participate in these paid for trips. And the ones that have been the last couple of years are all paid, like all inclusive, all food, all drink, you know, everything paid for. And prior to Beachbody, I mean, I can't remember the time that I went on a vacation. Since Beachbody, I vacationed more than ever. I flew out to Los Angeles. Once you hit a rank that's called 1-star, you get a free trip to Los Angeles. And that was just freaking mind-blowing. The experience that we had there. The hotel was like a 5-star hotel, which I've never stayed at a 5-star hotel. I don't remember if it was the CMA Music Awards or it was something that was happening a block away, and all the famous people stayed in that hotel. Like that's how nice the hotel was. So it was amazing. But that's one of the really fun things about that is getting together in person, and it will happen again. Absolutely. I don't know when, but it is going to happen again. But that's another really cool thing about coaching. Let's see. Oh, how could I forget? It keeps you to the highest level of accountability with your own health. So for me, I am very much an emotional person. Like my emotions just pour out of me. I mean, I've already cried on here, but I knew it would happen. Like it always happens. I'm such a high and low, like I just experience everything so deeply. And the old me, meaning pre-Beachbody me, if I would have a bad week in a program I was doing or at the gym or whatever, like I would just give up and quit. Like that's just what I would do. Well, it got hard, it got horrible. Like I was mad at myself, like all of these different things, I would quit. And I still do that now, not quit, but I still have those bad days. I have those bad weeks. I have those times where I'm just like, I want to give up. Like I'm human. But you know what I have? I have that inbox right now filled with girls that need me. I have that group right now that is depending on me to show up for myself so they have the power to show up for themselves. Being a coach is seriously the best thing that I ever did for my health. I always say, like, even if I didn't get paid, I would be a coach because I don't know where I would be emotionally tied together with my health if it wasn't for Beachbody. It always picks me up when I am down, no matter if it's the people, if it's Autumn, like the trainer right now that I hear in my ears. Like, it's just something, and it's freaking positive. Now, touching on that positive thing, that's one of the, it's not a requirement, but it is one of the things, it's called a vital behavior that the company actually puts out for you to do to be successful. They say one of the 4 vital behaviors is personal development. Before Beachbody, I never did personal development. I thought that was for like crazy people, which I am kind of crazy, but I thought that was only for people that, you know, needed to go to a psychiatrist or something. Like, nobody needs like self-help unless they're, you know. And this changed my whole thinking about personal development. So now I probably go through, I don't know, 1 to 2 books a month, and it feeds my soul. Like, I do personal development on like personal, on relationships, on work, on anything that I just feel like my cup needs to be filled with. Like, maybe I'm feeling like not confident lately. Maybe I feel like my leadership skills need to be improved. Whatever it is, there is a book out there that will teach you something. And I love that aspect, because I've grown so much as a person, as a mother, as whatever, because of these books that I've read, which, mind you, I can't say read, I listen to. I almost do all of them through audio. Because if you remember that whole schedule of working 40 hours and all that, I made use of that hour-long time that I was driving to work after I started to get really into coaching. I listened to a book. Gosh, I would go through 4 to 5 books in the very beginning because of that hour-long ride. Luckily, I don't have that hour-long ride, so 2 hours a day. I don't have that anymore. But I do it when I'm in the shower. I do it when I'm doing laundry. Let's be real, I don't do laundry, Megan does. When I do the dishes, I do dishes. I do that. But I make use of my time in that way, because I am still busy, even though I am home, and the kids are now not e-learning anymore. I do still have my day packed. So I have to cram in things, otherwise I'll forget them. And that personal development part, like, that is key for me. If I'm not having a good day, I can almost guarantee you I didn't do my personal development, like guarantee you. So anyway, so that's another thing. So that's kind of like the whole Beachbody story for me. But like I said, every single person is different. And if you ever attend these again, you're going to hear different stories. And Courtney's is a little different than mine, because she was staying at home, you know, with her babies when she first started. Courtney, if you want to unmute and say anything, you definitely can.
Now you know how I feel about this, Megan.
I know. So, gosh, when was it? So Courtney, for those of you that don't know Courtney or watching the replay, Courtney is definitely one of the newer coaches on our team. And I remember saying to her that she needed to do stories. And she's like, I don't want to do stories, videos. I don't want to talk. And now I'm making her talk on a video. So, you know, there's
it's because of you that I have come out of my comfort zone more than I ever have before. And it is so empowering. Like, you're getting me crying, because I feel like we're the same person. I really do. Like, I get so emotional and worked up about it, because it has changed my entire life. Like, so fucking much. It changed everything. I have never been happier. My kids have never been happier. My husband is just, he has never been happier. And like, the money for me was secondary. I was taking care of myself. I was putting me first. And I'd never done that before. And it's the best feeling in the entire world. I can't believe how much I'm crying. But it's like, you can't even, it's hard to even explain into words, because it's just, I've never felt like this before. I would stay in bed until noon, and then it started to affect everything else. And it just, I said, screw it. And I just started taking care of me and putting me first. And it changed everything. Like, I'm stumbling over my words now because I'm getting so upset over it.
No, I think you said it perfectly right. And that was the feeling that I had of when I realized, like, I could actually share this feeling I have inside right now, that like I feel so empowered, and it's such like
Yes.
powerful, like it's incredible.
And when you feel this good and you are showing it, people literally message me daily and tell me like, girl, thank you, because it's because of you that I am finally putting myself first and taking care of me. And it's amazing the ripple effect that it has. It really is. Like, you, again, I know that it's me and I did this for myself, but I love you with all my heart, and I thank you so much for pushing me and telling me that I can do this, because I had so much self-doubt before this. It changed my entire life.
I always
And
say that.
it has only been 3 months.
I know.
It's only been 3 months. Like, I can't even begin to explain how excited I am for the next few months.
I know, it's crazy. And it's always people, it's that message that I can't explain to coaches. Like I could never have you feel it until you feel it. When you have somebody message you, thank you.
Exactly. There's literally no better feeling, and I am the happiest I have ever been in my entire life, and people are noticing, and when people notice, it makes you happier.
Because it makes you like, oh my gosh, this is real.
Right? And like you said before about the accountability, like for me, that is a big thing. I love this because it makes me stay on track. Mm-hmm. I love getting up and doing my workout and recording it. And I love that. That literally is, I can't find the word because you got me all emotional here. That's it. It is. It hits something inside of me, and I'm like, hey, like, I love this. Yeah. And like my entire day is better. Yeah. Everything is just better. And I love when people message me and they want help, because I've always been that type of person that helped people. Right. I was always that one that gave advice to my friends in high school and growing up and stuff. Like, I was always that person. And now, like, I have the tools to do it right and make people happy. And there's no better feeling than a month later when somebody messaged you and literally thanks you for being there for them. I love it.
And it's like, I remember like the first time I got that thank you message, and I still say very similar things now, but like, I didn't do anything. That was you. Like, you did it. You know, like, I'm just the one that showed you some tools to use, but you had to pick up that dang hammer. You had to do it. You know, This wasn't going to happen unless you put in the work. And, but it is like, you still do have to take a step back and see that ripple effect that happens. And now having, like, we call them like grandfather or grandmother and grandbaby coaches, all the different levels of coaches. And so like, people that you then mentor are like my grandbaby coaches, and to see the ripples and how far it goes is just incredible, because you're not just helping that one person. Like, I didn't just show that to Courtney. Like, Courtney is going to impact her relationship and her marriage because of it. She's going to impact the relationship with her children. She's going to show up as a different mother because of it. The ripple effect goes far beyond just that person that you get to help. It is so further than that. I showed up as a better employee at work because of it. Like, it impacts you everywhere. It does. And being a coach makes you level up to do the things on those hard days when you maybe don't feel like it. So that's why I always say being a coach is like the ultimate accountability. Like, what we have already is an amazing accountability system with the group and having a coach, but then becoming a coach is like that next, like, gangster level accountability. It's like totally different. So everybody, I will say, everybody is different with their goals of when they come in to be a coach. And sometimes I've had people that get really intimidated and say like, well, I don't want to make it my full-time job, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do. That's okay.
And
Like,
I don't
right.
make it my full-time job. I have 3
Right.
kids here by
You have
myself to take care
babies.
of. And you know what? I am blown away at the money I made working part-time in the last
Right.
month. Blown
Right.
away. I got to go shopping and buy myself something.
Right.
And that felt nice to
Right.
not have to get money out of the regular funds. And like, it was such a good feeling to go shopping.
And I love watching everything that you bought.
Yeah.
You have to stay over here with
All
Mama.
the leggings. All the leggings. But let me dive in a little bit to the money part and explain to you guys a little bit. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to not.
I'm
look
sorry.
at
She's
so-
just, she woke up from her nap, so
She's so
she's.
freaking cute. Hi, honey.
Here, she spilled the water.
Her debut. All right, so let me talk to you guys a little bit about money. I can actually share a slide real quick. I don't know if you guys, whoever's watching this, learns better or sees better through images. So I'm just going to share my screen. Give it 2 seconds to connect. And don't laugh at all the tabs I have open. It's insane. Actually, it's pretty hidden, so it's good. All right. So this was just going over some of the things that makes our team pretty unique, which this one right here was from the leadership retreat that was in LA. This was a limo ride that I got special because I hit a certain rank, which I'd been in a limo once before. So this was just amazing. It was a Hummer limo. And that was the house that we stayed in, all of the leaders on our team. It was just such an honor, such an incredible thing. But anyway, I want to talk about a bunch of other stuff too. Let's talk about commissions. So commission is one of the ways that you can make money with Beachbody. It is basically 25% on most of the things that you're going to get back from your customers. There are different times that you get more than 25%, but typically it's around 25% commission. So that's one of the ways, basically like a retail store, except without you having to keep an inventory and without you having to do shipping or to handle any of the orders. It all goes through what we call Share a Cart. So most of you probably got set up that way where your coach sent you an email and it had your package or program or whatever it was in that email. That we have the ability to create a Share a Cart. It's super easy. And then you fill out all the information. We don't have to do any of that as coaches. We just sit back and we get the commission from it, which is really nice. But then you also have other stuff. You've got residual income. So here's like a little example here of, okay, so your first month, let's say we helped 3 people with a challenge pack, with Lift 4 challenge pack. That was a $60 commission. So that first month we made $180. Then the second month, we're going to do that same thing again. We're going to help 3 more people come into our community. So that's going to be that amount. But then you also have these 3 people here that they're loving their results, they're loving their program, and they're going to order again. So you're going to get another 25% commission off of what they order again. So now here's your second month. So this is how residual income starts increasing. But that's really important because you're not going to have residual customers if you're not doing the part that comes after the order. So I truly, truly believe that the groups are so important and your attention to your customers are so important, because if they're not getting results, they're not going to love this, they're not going to reorder again, and they're not going to stick with you to be a part of your community. So it's important for you to show them how to use the products, to how to get the best results, to walk them through these things so then they can experience what it feels like to really freaking feel good. Okay, so that's the residual side of it. This part I'm just going to touch on real quickly, but there's a bunch of different ways to make additional income, and it's called through bonuses. A couple different things. If you sign up 5 coaches within a 5-week period, you get a $100 bonus just for doing that. You just get the $100 bonus. There's a team cycle bonus. Once you hit a certain rank, you then make bonuses on the volume that comes through your team. So that eventually, if you become like a coach that's really in it for the income, not meaning in it for the income, but you're in it to make money also, then this team cycle bonus is what will far exceed your commissions because you're growing a team. There's matching bonuses, which you're given bonuses matched off of what your your coaches are making. And then there's quarterly bonuses. This is also where you get to get into a pool once you reach a certain rank in the company. There's different ranks for different pools, and then you get a piece of the pot, basically. So each rank, as you move up, the pot of money gets bigger and bigger, and you get that quarterly. So those are a couple different ways. Those were just some coaches that I had examples of. Okay, where are my notes? Okay, quarterly bonus, I want to make sure I talked about all that. Okay, and then yeah, this is something that I always hear a lot, like, do I have to sell to certain, a certain amount of people every month? There is zero quota. You never have to have a customer. You never have to, sign a coach ever. My mom is signed up as a coach for the discount. But then I also have some coaches that some months they'll, bring a few girls in. The next month, none. There's no penalty. There's zero penalty. Okay. The only thing that you have is you have your monthly business fee, which it depends what country you're in to how much it is. I'm in the States, so it's a $16 a month business fee. And that handles all the behind the scenes stuff. It handles the orders, it handles the shipping, it handles all of that back office stuff that we don't have to do. $16, boom. So I think that's a well-deserved $16 for me to handle that side of the business, because if it had to depend on me of packing stuff and this would not be the business. I am not good at that kind of stuff. And the girls on my team know that, because yeah, anyway, I would not succeed if it came to that. So let me go over a couple just misconceptions or commonly asked questions, and then I'll end it. A lot of people think you have to be at your goal weight. I hear that all the time. When I recognize somebody in the challenge group and I say, you know what, you've been really supportive. I really think you'd make a great coach. And they're like, oh no, I'm not at my goal weight yet. First of all, I don't know if there is a goal weight, because I feel like at every stage of life that you're in, things change. And if we were waiting on that one perfect moment to align, it just would never happen. It's almost like saying getting prepared to have children. You're never really ready to have kids. Once they come, you're like, oh, wow. I could have never prepared for this. If you're, don't have kids now and you're thinking about it and I just scared you, I'm sorry, but it's crazy. But yeah, there's no perfect time to start coaching other than right now. I always say that right now. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey. If you just started it today or if you started it 2 years ago, it's right now. There's no thinking in the past. There's no thinking in the future. It's right now. So for me, I started when I was a month and a half into my journey. So I still, from that part, I lost about 40 pounds since then. So I started my journey of coaching at that point. So I was nowhere near the weight, the goal weight, if you want to call it that. So it's not it. And a lot of times, people relate to that. They relate to your struggles. And I know that's kind of a hard thing to say, but they do, because we struggle. And when you see somebody else that you can connect with on an emotional level, on a level where you see yourself in them family-wise, work-wise, whatever it is, and you see what they're going through and you see them push through hard things, you're like, oh, well, maybe I can do that. So it doesn't matter what stage of your journey you're at, you can still be a successful coach no matter where you're at in your journey. A lot of times I get the thing about, not understanding social media. Y'all, I seriously, still am so technology, I can't handle, I don't know anything, but I figure it out and I learn it and I check, Google, how do I do this? And I just learn. And we don't let you out there, you sign as a coach and boom, see you later. We have trainings for you. Your coach will mentor you on what the next thing is that you can start working on. We're never going to leave you out there to dry and just find everything for yourself. You are literally, I almost think it's overload. So I try to limit it as much as possible, because really you don't need a million trainings to be a successful coach. You need the tools that we provide you in our team, which are, it shows you the vital behaviors of what to do. and you just go, you share your journey, and we'll show you how to share your journey in an authentic way. You don't want to come across as, hey, come buy my product. Like, we aren't like that. Like, at least our team is not like that. Okay. We share through our story, and we'll show you how to, make stories if you need help. We'll show you whatever it is that you need social media wise. And if we don't know, we'll go find out. Like, that's just how we are. We have trainings for every level. So once you reach certain levels, you can get bumped into different trainings, all the way up to like top trainings. So whatever it is that wherever you're at, you will be supported. So that's never a question. Okay. But we all started at ground one. We all started not knowing anything. I started with the knowledge of 21 Day Fix. That was my experience. That's all I knew. I didn't know any other program. I didn't know anything. But as I started having more conversations with people, and I started thinking, well, I don't think this would be a good program for them. They're like more advanced, or they're not there yet, or whatever it is. I would just talk to my coach and say, hey, like, what program do you think would work for her? She had been in a couple years, and that's me. Like, I would be your senior upline. I've been in for almost 5 years. I've tried almost every single program. There's like 2 or 3 that I haven't tried, which was in the group actually the other day. One of the girls posted the Brazilian butt lift. I haven't done that one. So I should go in and do that. But other than that, like, I have literally almost tried over 60 programs with our company. I'm certified in both of the nutrition plans. Like, somebody in this organization will be able to help you with a customer. We will not leave you alone. Okay. All right. So that kind of covers the training aspect. And I talked about there's no quotas, because that was always a concern. You can cancel at any time, just like a customer. So if you're signed up with a customer account, you can cancel at any time. If you're signed up as a coach, you can also cancel at any time. There's no tie to a year or whatever. Like, yeah. Let's see, what else? I think those are the big ones of misconceptions or questions that I have. Can you think of anything that you thought of what coaches needed to be, or?
I'm trying to think. I thought that it would take up a ton of my time.
Yeah.
And that there was that, and that I thought it was hard. First of all, I thought it was hard, and it's not.
Yeah, it's
You're
not.
literally like I love working out and eating right because it makes me feel good. So literally all I'm doing is sharing what I do every day.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm already doing that,
right,
why not get paid to do it?
Right. So basically what we do is, because we don't use a cold market. Like, we don't go out and like message random people. What we do is probably how you came into this. You were probably watching my stories. You were watching Courtney's stories, and we messaged you because we saw that you were watching our stories, and we messaged you and just connected with you. So you're already like having people, when you start sharing your stuff, you'll have people that start watching. Like, that is now your warm market, because shoot, I think the people watching my stories know more about me than a lot of people because, I share a lot in there. But I also have the control of what I want to share. So don't let that overwhelm you. You still have the control over what you want to share. But so that's how I usually connect with people, is people through watching my stories, and I just message them. I get to know them. And sometimes they just say like, hey, I want in your next group, or I saw those results, or blah, 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 blah. But those are the conversations that we get to have. And we'll walk you through those conversations when you're ready for that part. So, but yeah, like, it, as far as time consuming wise, it all is just what you want to put in. You want to put in an hour a week? Put in an hour a week. If you want to put in 5 hours a week, then do that. Like, your results, it's just like with your health and nutrition. The amount of time and effort you put in is the results you're going to get back. So whatever you put into coaching, it's the same thing. You put in less hours, you're probably going to get less results. But if you're good with that, then that's fine. And we don't have any requirement on our team. Like, some teams are literally like, you have to do this. No, I don't care. You bring one person in this month, that's great. We'll cheer you on and be so super pumped for you. Okay. So it's really all of whatever you want. There's no like, I just, don't want to, be a coach on her team and only have like an hour to give. we're great for that hour. Like you're still creating that ripple effect further out with you putting that hour in. So there's definitely no time, because I have gotten that a lot too with the time thing, that people think that it takes like hours and hours.
I mean, the way I see it, I always have my phone in my hand anyway.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right? Like I do. It's social media is addicting, and I'm starting to learn to get away from that a little bit.
Yeah,
The
you have to
scrolling.
set limits.
Scrolling.
Like
It's the
I have
scrolling.
my notifications off of almost everything. But that is, I have created different with working full time now. Like I think even with working the other job and having to fit this in, like I had to really like be intentional with my time. But now I have to like time out. Like I have all my notifications off except for text messages, but I have all it off, because otherwise, because of where I'm at in my business right now, the notifications would be blowing my phone up, and I would never be present with Megan. I'd never be present with my kids. So all of those get turned off. And then when I have my working hours, I sit down at this desk, which, mind you, the first 3 years of my business, I worked from the kitchen. So you don't have to have a computer. You don't have to have an office. You can work strictly from your phone. But I worked in my kitchen, and then, you know, in my lunchroom at my other job. So you don't have to have that. But now I have to be super strict about that. And I will never, ever tell a coach like to go respond to a message right away that they got. Like, I'm going to tell you the opposite. Like, that person can freaking wait. You go be with your family.
That just reminded me, because the very first thing, I think the day I signed up for coaching, the very first thing you said to me was, this is secondary. Like if somebody messages you, you don't need to check it right away.
Yeah.
They will be there in a couple hours when you can get to it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the kicker for me. I was just like, yeah, you're right. Like,
Yeah.
my baby is crying. That is number one.
I see you back there. But yeah, but it is kind of like hard in the beginning, because you get so excited when somebody messages you that you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta answer. So like, I won't take that excitement away from you, but still, like, I'm gonna start telling you, okay, you gotta put the phone down. You know. All right, I think that's it. You guys, if you have any questions, please let us know. Anything that we didn't talk about, or anything that you want further explained that we did talk about, just message whoever your coach is, and we would be happy to get those answers for you. And I think that's it. You got anything, Courtney?
No, not really.
I'll have
that was fun.
It should be in the event, but I'll put this recording and make sure everybody has access to it too. I'll put it up on YouTube. All right.
All right.
All righty. Bye.
Bye.